mutually agreed, let's have a meeting. I think it's a good thing to meet. I do believe in meetings. I believe that having a meeting with Chairman Kim was a good thing. I think having meetings with the president of China was a very good thing. I believe it's really good. So having meetings with Russia, China, North Korea, I believe in it. Nothing bad's going to come out of it, and maybe some good will come out.
All right, welcome back to Helsinki as we continue the lead up to the big summit between Vladimir...
Hang on a second, this is not your show.
Welcome to Fox and Friends.
No, the Fox
Pete
and Friends.
And Rachel are back in New York, and Ed Henry now joins us.
You always got to be the man.
Oh,
You're going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern all week. You're going to be live in Helsinki, brother.
Yeah,
I saw you in Singapore. You did a fabulous job as well.
Thank you. You too.
That's where I want to start this conversation in all seriousness. If you take a step back and think about what's happened just in the last 4.5 weeks, critic after critic has said, Donald Trump can't stand on the same stage with Kim Jong-un. He can't stand on the same stage with Vladimir
They said
Putin.
It was a win. Yeah. Even though rockets have not been fired over Japan since December, that's good for the world. Guam and the rest of the world's not been threatened. The region has gained a level of stability we didn't have. Also, he's talking about denuclearization. We've got hostages back. We got the remains of our soldiers back, and that's a continuing process.
And no president, Democrat or Republican, has had 2 one-on-one summits in the span of 4.5 weeks.
No, that's the speed of Trump. That's what makes him different. And I think that's also what is now defining. It's transformational because I think the American people like that speed. Well, all right, so what was the downside? What did President Trump give up in North Korea, and what did we gain? I will take a picture for 3 hostages any day.
I don't think he gave much up, but would you admit that, to be fair and balanced, that there's been backsliding by Kim Jong-un? He sat at the table, he signed a piece of paper, and now we have satellite images suggesting maybe they're going back to the nukes.
Well, we don't know the extent of it yet. We do know also that one missile launching site was taken down and it's sort of decommissioned. I think, as the president said, because I was in the room at the time, and then I interviewed him right after, he said it's a process. You know, listen, everyone's in the media, they're getting it all wrong. This is, what's he going to say? I think I know the president well enough. He is going to be blunt, brutally honest, just like he was in NATO this week. The most underreported incident that happened with NATO is, yeah, he went after NATO. We pay 70 cents of every dollar, $700 billion of a $1 trillion bill. A lot of countries aren't paying their fair share. But I think the most substantive thing the president talked about was the fact that all these billions and billions of dollars that Germany is spending, creating energy dependence from Russia, a bad actor, hostile regime, and a bad actor, Putin.
A lot of people were paying attention to. Now they are, because the president put it on the radar.
Well, it's on the radar, but it's really, for national security purposes, it's not a good strategic play by Germany.
To be so dependent on Russia.
To be so dependent on Russia. But I think what he was really saying is, well, America's got more natural resources. If you and think of all the millions of American jobs, if we get the billions of dollars in contracts, that's American workers,
and his base
career jobs.
Because he's on the world stage, not just leading, but standing up for America.
One big point, though, think of this. The heart and soul of Vladimir Putin's economy is the energy that he's selling to our allies in Western Europe. If I was Vladimir Putin...
He doesn't like that when Donald Trump is saying that.
Donald Trump's not only saying that, he's also, I'm sure, saying behind the scenes, we've got more resources than he does, and it won't put your national security in jeopardy.
On the other hand, while there's no evidence that a single vote was changed in 2016 by Russian interference, why does the president continue to make it seem like, well, maybe they did, maybe they didn't? I've asked Vladimir Putin. He told me, no, we didn't do anything. You would at least admit the Mueller indictments from Friday suggest, well, he interfered. He maybe didn't change a vote, but he interfered.
The timing to me is dubious. Why on the eve of this summit? Why this second? Secondly, that's the equivalent, those 12 indictments are the equivalent of our CIA agents. If American CIA agents on American soil are indicted in Russia, there is no extradition treaty. This is never going to happen. To me, it was just to get the name Russia into the mix for Robert Mueller.
So does that mean Rod Rosenstein, who oversees the Mueller probe, House Republicans are talking about impeaching him on Monday?
I saw that, and we'll see. It's been coming a long time because they have obstructed. They have denied Congress their right to oversight. It's a constitutional authority. But I think there's something deeper here, is that at the end of the day, America has to have a position of strength. If Donald Trump were any way compromised by Vladimir Putin, he wouldn't have dropped that you know, huge mother of all economic bombs by suggesting that maybe Germany not go into billions and billions of dollars in energy. Oh, Putin didn't like it? Oh, that was this thing. And it's interesting because the media doesn't seem to pick up on how important that is.
But how do you answer it to your fellow conservatives when some of them say Ronald Reagan would not have stood for this interference in the American election, number one, but also, number two, not standing up enough to Putin over Crimea? He went into Ukraine, an independent country, and annexed
do you think that's, you don't think the president's going to bring up Ukraine,
well,
Crimea?
I think he will.
You don't think the president's going to bring up?
He'll bring it up, but it's going to be tough.
Listen, in 2014, Devin Nunes, he said clearly that Putin's goal was to create chaos in the United States for the 2016 election. Okay, that's on Obama's watch. Obama did nothing. In October of 2016, Obama actually said no serious person would ever believe that any outside entity could impact our elections. And then he told Donald Trump to stop whining, because at that moment he thought Hillary was going to win.
Other top officials didn't do anything.
There you go.
Right.
I mean, so they had an obligation to do it, but nobody wants our elections interfered with. It will be a big topic. The idea that the media suggests that Donald Trump is not going to bring it up, they don't know him.
So bottom line,
as evidenced by NATO,
last question,
he will be as tough there.
You saw what happened in Singapore. You saw the agreement there. What's a reasonable expectation for Monday?
I think listen, all I really want, and all I think that would be a real win for everybody, is for the president to go in and lay all of these issues out on the table, have an adult conversation, an open dialogue, and I think that transparency on both sides is only going to lead to future dividends. There's no downside here. You know, look, how many people broke into Hillary Clinton's emails? Why is it relevant? Was it Iran? Was it China?
We've heard that it was foreign actors that got it.
Well, remember the first draft of Strzok and Comey said as many as 6 foreign actors had hacked into her emails. What information came out of there? The fact that that's been ignored in all this shows a double standard, and it goes to the heart of an argument I've been making.
Sean has hacked into Fox and Friends today. He's taken over the show.
By the way, this is
He's
Fox
fired
and
off.
Friends.
Wait a second.
This is
I'm
Fox
not even
and
on
Friends.
stage anymore, buddy.
Hey, listen.
By the way,
right, John.
I'm going to say something that's unscripted. The world doesn't know how generous you are. Every time we go on these trips, not just the anchors and the reporters you take, all of our crew guys, all the producers,
I love these guys.
You take them out to dinner, and you're very generous.
So are you. Hey, listen. We're going to continue. More Fox and Friends from Helsinki.
He's taking over.
We've been hijacked.
We'll throw back to Rachel and Pete that are in our New York studio.
It's happening.
Sean,
by the way,
just
right
replace
there us tomorrow.
Sean's going to replace you for the rest of the show. You're off. You're good.
Sean's replacing me?
For the rest of the show.
He wants to go to dinner. It's a dinner time.
Wait a minute.
Already.
Hang on. I've got a couple of hours.
I'm out of here.
Thank you, Sean. Well done.
4-hour show. All right. I got 1 hour.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
That's great.
Thanks, Sean.
Good stuff.